Hellgate London, in a nutshell, would be an action RPG built very much on the philosophies and kind of core concepts behind the Diablo series. So randomization, customizability, rarity, making sure that we really offer a lot of value to the players and really try to create a game experience that's never exactly the same twice in a row. There's a lot in Hellgate that's really different. But I think that core philosophy of really providing that randomized content, that gameplay that's very unique, very different, very action-oriented, those things stay true, but it really is very, very different in a lot of ways. We try to make it an even mix between dungeon and above ground in terms of where you'll be playing. So you'll be adventuring as much on the city streets of London in those outlying areas as you will underneath London. And that was one of the things we really liked about choosing the city, is that it did have really that whole city beneath the city. There's so much that is actually existent underneath London that's really great for us to explore, and then allows us to kind of have modern day dungeons, but we also wanted to have big open areas that players could run through. Our art director, who heads up all the backgrounds and environments, Dave Glenn. Dave probably went about 5 or 6 times over to London, took thousands of photographs, so there's photo reference for everything that's in the game. Even though it's randomly generated, it has to feel like London or that part of London you're supposed to be in. So even using textures for the streets, shooting things like signage, and then altering those so it all felt right. A lot of the team spent an awful lot of time trying to bring a level of realism to this kind of alternate future world that we built. Well, the big thing about Hellgate London is that you are fighting for the survival of humanity, and very specifically, you're fighting against demons. So one of the things we wanted to do was to really make sure that we created demons, some that were based out of actual mythology and lore, others that, though we completely constructed, had that feeling of what would be right in a Western European culture. And that was really one of the things that was interesting in how the artwork tied in with the research, is that when we were creating these demons, we wanted them to feel right. So when you saw them, you thought, oh, this feels like it should be here. So for us, that was a big part about using the city as an actual cornerstone for us to build the game off of, is that everything should feel like it's in the right place, and that included even the monsters that we fight. The weapons are very unique in a lot of ways. Very faction focused. So we have 3 factions in the game: the Templar, the Cabbalists, and the Hunters. The Templar are based, in terms of world story, out of the Knights Templar. And so they're very focused on using more archaic weaponry, but realized with modern technologies. So even though their armor and their shields look very medieval almost to a degree, they glow, they've got tech parts to them, and they fight primarily with swords. And though the swords are crazy, they're not just your typical broadsword. You've got electrical blades and fire blades and poisonous blades that have been stolen from the demons, and all kinds of things that really give you a lot of different gameplay mechanics and very unique looks in the game. The Cabbalists are our spellcasters, and they focus primarily around weapons that almost deal with like magic and genetic mutation. They have a lot of weapons that like fire bugs and things like that, and very strange, like almost organically constructed weapons. Or they have focus items. The Evoker, one of the classes, has to channel all their spells through these focus items. That's how they tap into arcane energies or elemental energies. And then the Hunters are more of our kind of super science classes, and so they'll use weapons that are maybe that like Area 51 crazy bleeding edge technology that you would think never exists, and then like but the government actually has that. So they have like weapons that are based off of Tesla coil technology, or shoot fireballs and things, and it still gives it a very otherworldly feel, almost a magical feel, but it's super science. You will definitely remember that when you are in a fight, you're fighting lots of demons. You're doing lots of damage, and it's really going to get your adrenaline pumping. It's very fun to do. And we're still shooting for around the end of the summer, but we're more dedicated to quality than hitting a specific date. But it'll definitely be out this year. Just whether we get all the testing hammered out and the bugs killed and the play experience like we want in that time frame. And we're very PC focused, so we're Flagship's a PC house. It's a PC only game, though certainly with partners like EA, we've talked about is there a way we can bring this to the consoles? Certainly nothing that we're working on or very focused on right now, but I think with the fact that the next-gen systems now are established, there's a much bigger online presence in console than there's ever been. It's something that's pretty interesting, and we'll continue to look at.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.